Building a team is one of the most important parts of playing Dokkan Battle, and I've been getting a lot of questions lately about just how do you do that? You know, how do you build a team? And this may seem like a pretty straightforward question, but there's actually a lot of layers to it. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I go about selecting what team to build, and then how I go about selecting what units to put on that team. Let's get into it. Hello Dragon Ballers, it's Dokkan Taro, and like I said in the intro, we're going to be doing some team building today. So I've got here my character list pulled up. The first thing you want to do is look at the units that you have, and based on what you have, that should help you decide what kind of team that you want to build. You want to look at what units you have that are, either put through the dupe system really efficiently, and what kind of stats they have, what kind of passives they have. A good way of knowing how good your unit is to sort by attack. That's not the be-all, end-all, because you have units like, let's say, SSJ3 Gotenks here, who gives attack plus 120% when performing a super attack. So his attack is going to go up from there. But this is a pretty good way of finding out who your strongest units are. And generally speaking, in Dokkan Battle, your strongest units are the best. It's a very offensive-based kind of game. So for the sake of this, I'm going to go ahead and build a strength team. That's where we'll leave it. So the first thing I want to do after I've decided that is just go ahead and get rid of everyone except for the strength types. And now I've got a better, clearer picture of who I have that I can add onto this team. Obviously, I've got a lot of characters at level 1. Those are not ones that I've really considered putting in yet. Ooh, my phone's going off. Probably should have taken care of that earlier, but it is what it is now. So there's a couple different leaders for strength that I have. Just because he's right there, we'll go ahead and go with Broly. All strength types, ki plus 3, HP attack and defense plus 90%. That's a great leader skill. You want to make sure that your leader skill is giving a good amount of ki and a good amount of stat boost. And yes, 90% is far better than Gogeta's flat boost of 3000 attack. You don't have enough HP with this. You can get one-shotted by these events really easily. It's nice to have a rainbow leader, sure, but it's just not viable anymore and hasn't been for a while. So any of you that are saying that a Gogeta leader is still viable, I'm sorry. You're mathematically wrong. Anyhow, we also have Omega Shenron. He's got same skill as Broly, except he only gives you 70%. His super attack is at 1. I'm sorry. If anyone's offended, feel free to let me know in the comment section that you're offended. And then we've got the Demigod Cell. Strength type, all stats up 100%. That's pretty good. But I would have to say that my best leader, and also when you're building a team, you want to look at the units that you have. And I've got some good strength villains, but mostly what I've got that's really good here, besides the Broly, who's a top tier excellent card to have, would be super types. And that's where this guy comes in. Everyone knows, I know I'm being really kind of obvious with this stuff, but he gives 120% and plus 3 ki to super strength types, and then 1 ki and 50% stat boost to extreme strength types. We're going to try to maximize the damage and just the playability of this team by trying not to have any extreme types. Broly seems nice to throw on this team, but he's going to struggle for ki because he's only getting 2 ki with another Goku friend. And also, he doesn't link well enough, and he's not going to get the full stat boost. So he's actually not going to hit as hard as a lot of these other units. So first, we pick our leader, and that's going to be Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So we're building a super strength type. Let's go ahead and weed it out even further and just have super strength types right there. So next, you're going to look at, just try to pick about 2 or 3 really hard-hitting units, just your most powerful units that you have. For me, that would be this crazy SOB right here. And then another good hard-hitting unit that I like to use a lot is this GT Trunks. The other thing you want to keep in mind when you're selecting these units is make sure that they link up well with each other. So we've got Prepared for Battle and GT. That's 4 key with this GT Trunks. Very nice. There's GT and Prepared for Battle. They've also got Fierce Battle. Everyone here has Fierce Battle. Gogeta's got Fierce Battle. He's also got Prepared for Battle. That's a 2 key. That's not too bad. We can get around any issues we have with that. So those are actually going to be my 2 hard hitters for now, because I already know in advance that this Super Saiyan 3 Goku links up really, really well with Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who is going to be the hardest hitter on this team. He's going to be the main guy. He's going to be coming back rotations very often. And by the way, as a side note, the way you keep your rotations solid, you know, when you get into a battle, you've got 3 characters lined up. The people or the characters, the units in the first 2 slots are going to come back not the next turn, but the one directly after that. The one in the 3rd slot isn't going to come back for 3 turns. So remember, third slot, 3 turns. Pretty easy to remember. The first 2 slots will be back the following turn. So you got to have 4 units that stay out, or that stay on a rotation anyway. So for me, it's going to be the 2 Super Saiyan 4 Gokus alternating. One of them is going to link up with Gogeta. One of them is going to link up with this Goku. He's going to maximize damage for Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And Gogeta is also going to maximize damage on that turn because he hits so hard. And he hits everyone very hard. Now from there, you can do a couple of different things. This is now the time to think about support units. Luckily for me though, I've already got a support unit right here. He gives 33% to all allies. That is a very, very nice boost. Very nice. He doesn't give any key, but that's all right. He's not really there to hit hard. He's just kind of there. Now, what I want to make sure is that I have some good support on this team. It could be in the form of key support. This Super Saiyan God Goku, who I have run multiple times. And I really enjoy him a lot, but I feel like he's gotten a little bit dated in the past. I've also learned a lot more about damage calculations. I used to swear by this Goku, but I'm not so sure about him anymore. I think he would really benefit from a rebirth. But he has shocking speed, over in a flash, and prepared for battle. So he bridges the key gap between Gogeta and GT Goku. He's really good for that. Another good unit for support. If you're looking at your team and you're having a hard time with heavy hitters, if you just don't have a whole lot of the heavy hitters and all that good stuff, this Pikon's really great because he greatly lowers attack. He also has shocking speed and prepared for battle, so he links up pretty well on this team. He lowers enemies' defense, but that doesn't really do anything as far as damage calculation. It's a very, very minimal amount that he gives, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. He also has Fierce Battle, and you can max his super attack for free. However, after doing some damage calculations, I actually found out that he doesn't hit as hard as this Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta at super attack level 1. Ouch. And a lot of that is because of that 100% when performing a super attack. So I'm going to have to rescind my whole Pikon is optimal, because he actually isn't. He should be used if you're worried about taking too much damage, because those debuffs are really good. If you're blowing through events, if you're you know, one-shotting and all that kind of stuff, or close to it, you probably don't need the Pikon. If it's taking a long time to get through phases, and you're taking a lot of damage, that might be a good time to add Pikon, but in the meantime, not really. Anyway, we're still looking for a support unit. That's the whole point of this whole thing. You could go, if you're having trouble with key, you can go the key changer route. This guy changes physical key to rainbow key. That helps open up paths, but not really enough. Now, here's a unit I overlooked. I totally forgot about when I did my 120% bleed video. Strength type attack and defense plus 25%. 25% is a lot. He also has prepared for battle. Yeah, he's just an SSR, or in this case a UR since he's awakened, but he's not a TUR. He doesn't have fierce battle. He doesn't have shattering the limit. but he still links up very decently with his team. He might not always super attack, but that extra 25% is going to help out a lot. So there we go. I have 2 support units, one that comes back every rotation, and one that'll be there every 3 turns. If I had another support unit, if this were in JP and I had the Kaba or the Bardock will be out soon. I just don't have him. So, you know, hopefully I pull him at some point because he's a great unit to have. He would probably be on there too. At this point, you can make an argument for the Super Saiyan God Goku. You can definitely make that argument. You can make an argument for this Vegeta. He definitely tanks really well. But for this team, since it's such a hyper offensive team, at this point, you just look at the team and see what it does. I've got Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who hits tremendously hard and already tanks really well for himself. And then I've got Gogeta, who hits extremely hard. And with all of his dupe system investment, he actually takes regular attacks pretty nicely. And I've got the GT Trunks, who's also a pretty hard hitter. And lots of good support. So at this point, I would prefer to add another support unit. I think having a support unit coming out every turn is really good. But in this case, it actually makes the most sense and it does the most damage and it increases the overall viability of the team the most to add in the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. He's kind of a cleanup. A lot of times this team will just kind of one-shot events and go through. If there's a little bit left over, this Vegeta works very well. He's actually now this is my preferred strength team to run. Once again, this Goku's fine. This Vegeta's fine. I might even bring that Vegeta for certain events. He can stun. If it's an event where you're able to stun the last phase, he might be a little bit good for that, for some cheap hacks. And his damage reduction is really nice. The Pikkon isn't bad at all. You know, this is the optimal strength team on global right now. And as far as damage goes, it puts out the most damage if you keep the rotation solid. So this is kind of a no-brainer for me, but for you, you might not have every single one of these units. And that's why I'm trying to mention some other ways you can get around it. But to recap, start off with your leader, and then from there, try to build around them. Add in a couple of hard hitters, and you definitely want to have 2 to 3 support units on your team, because once you get up to 120% and 90% and all that kind of stuff with those boosts, that support is going to do a lot more. 25% on top of 120% leader skill boost does a hell of a lot more than it does on a 50% heroes or villains kind of team. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I've been getting asked a lot of questions about team building, so I hope this answers at least most of those. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave me a comment down in the comment section. I love talking to you guys. I love answering your questions. And I'm pretty good at responding to you guys. I've got notifications on my phone to let me know when you're talking to me, and I get to them when I can. And if you like the video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe, go for it. I love that. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, so I'm really excited about that. I'm going to have to come up with something special to do for you guys. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Hope you found it helpful. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.